lab guy here. What you're looking at is the back end of the image orthicon camera, and these are the two old wires that went to the alignment coil. As you can see, this one is just completely rotten. The insulation looks like beads. Its partner is not in much better shape, and down at this end, which probably is hard to see, this wire goes from flexible rubber to a burnt mess, like it possibly shorted out here. So I have to get all of this burnt wire out of here, and unfortunately it's laced into the harness, so I'm probably going to strip it back to the knot in the harness and cut it off there and remove the other bits that are just as awful. Right here, this is the other end of the green wire, and it's in bad shape. I've turned the camera around so that I can see what I'm working on. So I want to mark where the wires go. And this one here is the green. And I think the tan wire we'll find is attached to the center tap on the potentiometer. I believe that what has happened is at some point in the past these two wires shorted out, or somebody turned the adjuster all the way up and put full current through this guy. It is in bad shape. So let's see. I need to look at the rest of the wiring harness, so I have to cut the lacing. I hate to do that. Okay. And here's some more lacing. Oh. One more lace to cut. Probably I cut the wire too. There we go. This is the green and tan alignment coil wires. I've just removed them from the camera. So far, all of the damage seems isolated to the two wires from the alignment coil. I may have lucked out today. Here's the rebuilt alignment coil. It's made of a soft iron tube that's been flanged different amounts on opposite ends, and these fancy coils have been placed in here, which, as you can see, the wire's not simply spun around the coil. These windings are very similar to a deflection coil, and as you can see, one winding ends here and the other winding is starting here, so the magnetic field would be this way across this ring, all the way, everywhere, parallel this way. And so when it's on the tube, it can push the electron cloud inside the tube left and right on along those magnetic lines. And to correct for the angle of it, there's a clamp that holds this. You loosen the clamp and you simply rotate this until you get the best shading, and continuously adjust the strength of the magnetic field. So we're going to put this back in the camera now. Alright, if memory serves me correctly, the orientation of the coil was this way. But since we're here, I'm going to grab my pen. We're going to find that pole in these coils and mark it. I see. Alright, it lines up with the wires. That makes sense. So we'll rotate that where I found it and put that onto this yoke tube. Now the first thing it encounters is one of the rebuilt capacitors underneath. I've loosened the bottom chassis on this side so I can press it down far enough to work this past the capacitors. And we're in. After a little bit of fussing with this coil, I have managed to get it into the camera. And as you can see, we can rotate it. We can turn this to put that field wherever we like. And so to finish putting it in, remember this lock goes in here. And I believe it goes like that. In fact, that'll give us a good reference as to where the position of this thing is. It goes right there. And guess what? This capacitor's in my way. So we pull the tube, without breaking it, of course. Sure we will. Okay. Tube is out. Straight blade screwdriver. Ow. Alright. That driver. No? Not gonna go? Very well. Alrighty. No problem. Now the capacitor will get out of our way. And fortunately I keep all the screws numbered for just such an occasion. So we put this one back. And lift up the capacitor there. And oh, very good. Now, again with the straight blade screwdriver, we tighten down the two screws, and the alignment coil clamp is back in. This is the physical position that the physical depth this way that this alignment coil was originally, and now we just reinstall the capacitor. Well, there is some good news. The burned wires apparently didn't damage any of the adjacent wires, so we got very lucky there. The resistance of the three 20 ohm pots here is about 7 ohms in parallel with the parallel resistance, and that measures correctly as well. So I'm going to go ahead and reattach the alignment coil wires to the alignment coil potentiometer here, which is R200. It's a 20 ohm 5 watt potentiometer. The DC resistance of the alignment coil is 26 ohms. 26 or 28 ohms, somewhere in that range. The schematic said that it was 3 point something, but that can't possibly be correct. That's just way too low. That's a short circuit. So we will attach these alignment coil wires where they were originally, which let's see if I can give you a better view. We're going to attach to this pot here. And so the first one will be on the center wiper. That will be the yellow wire, the high side of the coil. I have to go into super magnification here. You can't see me. So sorry if I get in the picture. Alright, we want to clean off some of this. Stinky smoke. just like that. Well, it's not too shabby. This calls for a drop of flux. This is simple rosin soldering flux. Well, it's going to give us a fight. Alright, this stuff's very sticky. Alright, now the yellow wire will connect to the center wiper. First I want to tin it with solder. The alignment coil is reconnected, and we'll inevitably dress these wires where they need to go. We won't know that until the camera's operating and aligned. That concludes the reinstallation of the alignment coil.